and welcome to Shelf Space. I'm your host, Roz13, and today we are reviewing the Master Grade Plan 303E Deep Striker. As you can see, we are out in my living room again because, well, we usually look at the box first on these reviews, and the box is too big for my normal stage. But don't worry, we'll get back to the actual stage in just a little bit. But for now, let's go ahead and take a look at this real quick. So, we got very cool illustration of the Deep Striker. Got all these technical bits over it. And this is supposed to sort of symbolize how technically this thing was never actually built. It only existed as a computer program. It was only like in files and I think simulations and stuff like that. Up here we got the standard MG logo that's being washed out by the lights in here. The sort of symbol for original Gundam stuff. Plan 303E Deep Striker. MSA 0011 BST EFSF. Prototype Transformable Mobile Suit. That's a lot to say. Of course, this thing doesn't actually transform. That's more a reference, I think, to the original base Gundam for this. And then we got the red Bandai logo because this was just before they did the switch over to the blue Bandai Spirits logo. On the top of the box, we have pretty much everything that we saw before, plus the bluefin sticker, and it has a handy handle. Also, if we open this up, hopefully you guys can see this. There we go. We have a neat top shot of the kit itself, plus the background. Nice little bit of detail. As a designer who worked in packaging design for a bit, I can appreciate that. On this side, we have the same illustration and text as before, just cropped down to fit on the box. Looks pretty darn cool. On the other side, we have a very cool basically painted photograph of the kit with some little write-ups about it. In fact, let's go handheld and take a closer look. So here it is in Japanese and in English. You can pause the video and read that off if you want. And finally on the back, we have a very big shot of the kit plus its stand, as well as call-outs for its weapons, details, and some of the changes they made to the base mold. Let's go handheld again real quick, and you can take a look at some of the write-ups. Get a nice little pan over the big image. I really dig the tech spec thing that they got going on here, where it's pointing out all the different parts. And just the overall design of this is just really, really cool. Here we got weapons, detail, and refine. So we see stuff about the weapons, the extra detail. And I believe refine talks about how they made changes to the original base mold. Then up here is the write-up about the actual kit and mobile suit. So yeah, if you want to read these, you can pause and look them over. All right. So that's enough of the box. But before we get to the actual review, I actually have a build montage speed thing for you guys to take a look at. So enjoy. so big I can't even really get him in frame. The cannon itself just sort of sticks off. And if I want any of him on there, the base gets cut off as well. But yes, and I'm moving around now. He is a very big, very impressive looking figure. Turning him around is not a simple task. There we go. So, building this guy was very interesting. He has some, I guess, techniques that are more common with older school master grades, such as the screws and stuff. And the build process wasn't hard per se. It was just long, and there were a lot of parts. And there's actually still quite a few stuff left over. We'll get into that later. But yeah, the build process didn't take nearly as long as I was thinking it would. I was expecting to work on this thing over the course of the month, basically, like I did with the Perfect Grade Exia. But instead, I had just enough free time to basically spend a few hours each day for about a week on this thing and managed to get him knocked out. And I'm kind of impressed with myself. So normally in these reviews I would start going over articulation, but here's the thing. He doesn't have much in the way of articulation. Really, he's kind of a glorified statue. I'll show you what he's got, but it's not a lot. I went with the standard Deep Striker head on this instead of the one with the Encom system. But the head is on a ball joint, and you can rotate side to side, look up, look down, but you are restricted because of just the sort of weird shape the head is. Shoulders are mounted with a peg, and you can get some movement here. I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to break anything. And you can slide this armor bit to the side, which is a big deal apparently. You have movement up and down like this, which is weird. There is a elbow joint on this one. Not that you can do much with it. This arm has some more standard articulation, though if you're holding the beam smart gun, you're kind of limited to what position it can be in. But you do have some bicep swivel, I believe a double jointed elbow, and a ball socket mounted hand with little hinges for the fingers. Big giant cannon, stationary. You can't rotate it up or down, which is odd. I would have expected that, but I guess it was a stability thing. The little landing gear feet thing can articulate like that if you want, with pistons that actually move. Same over here. They're a little tight and the parts are chrome, so I'm being careful. You can also move these side to side if you want. The beam smart gun is on an articulated armature that connects to the leg, and that can hinge around a little bit. But again, if you're making them hold it, you're kind of sticking in one position. And really, that's about it. Like I said, it's pretty much by design, to be honest. It's pretty much a statue. And I guess there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, because most people are going to find a pose they like and stick their gunpla in that. But if you're looking for something for super dynamic action poses, this isn't it. But, I mean, if you look at it, he doesn't really have legs. He's got basically thrusters on top of thrusters. Literally, he's got a thruster assembly here and another one right there. Oh, you can move these things. So it's kind of like expecting like the Xeon 2 to have like articulated legs. It doesn't have articulated legs. And yeah, so he's more of a mobile armor, which if you read the box, it actually makes a comment like that. So yeah, if you're looking for something with lots of dynamic articulation, this isn't going to be the kit for you. If you're looking for something big with impressive shelf presence, you might want to think about this one if you can afford it. But there is another factor that you need to think about, and that is this. These are all the leftover runners that still have parts on them. And as you can see, it fills up the half of this box. You even have lots of polycaps. I mean, some of them, it's because they have duplicate pieces, so you have extra ones, just like a single piece left on the thing. Or you have parts of bases that weren't used. But a lot of it is because since they did rework the kit from an existing one, you have some of those existing parts that weren't actually used. Now, I will admit there are, I think, 2 or 4 parts that were supposed to be used that I completely neglected. Fortunately, they are like on the insides of parts, and thus you don't actually see them and they don't really factor into anything. But that is quite a bit of plastic to be left over and not used. If that kind of thing bothers you, this will really, really bother you. I don't mind it too much because I look at this as potential for custom fodder. I now have a whole bunch of new little greeble bits and articulation bits and other things that I can potentially use for customs, but not everybody's going to appreciate that. So my opinion, I dig this kit. This was a very interesting build, combining some new techniques and older techniques. So kind of gain a taste of Gunpla history there a little bit. And it provided an extra level of challenge just by the sheer number of parts. My main problem is going to be, I don't know where to put this thing just yet. I think it's going to sit on an end table or something like that for a little while until a more proper place can be made available for it. Can I recommend this to everybody? At least on a tentative basis, I can give it a recommendation. The main thing is it's expensive, it's not super articulated, and you do have a lot of extra plastic. So the value prospect on there can be questionable. I really enjoyed this thing, and I find a great deal of value in it. But I can certainly see why some people wouldn't. So, yeah, that has been a review. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. Check the description below for links to my storefront where you can get official shelf space, t-shirts, and more. And once again, thank you, and I'll see you next time you invade my shelf space. Oh, and special shout out to Shoki of Shoki Reviews. I think I mentioned it earlier, but I won this kit from his Lupus for Lupus contest. So, thanks again, man.